Jag here, and it's time once again for your favorite pro wrestling opinion show, Jag's Jabs. I am Jefferson Alonzo Greene, and today I'm jabbing at wrestling in general. Not the WWE, not AEW, but both these clowns, because both of these idiots are making a crucial mistake. What's that mistake? The mistake is they're putting the wrong people in charge of the direction of their program. What do I mean by that? Well, let's start with the latest from AEW, okay? Actually, let me backtrack. Let's start with the WWE, because you guys like to say that I'm a WWE fanboy, and that couldn't be further from the truth. You guys like to say that the Jag is in love with Vince McMahon and Vince McMahon's product, but that is 100% wrong. So let me start with the WWE. First and foremost, whenever, I don't know exactly when it happened, right after the Attitude Era, maybe, I don't know, that Vince McMahon decided to hire writers. He decided to hire people who had zero wrestling freaking experience to be writers on a wrestling show. That's like having a legal show without any legal consultants. That's like having, LA Law or Law and Order and not having a single judge or a single attorney to advise them on what the hell a lawyer's supposed to say and do. How in God's name can a person who's never wrestled before, who's never cut promos before, who's never had a feud before, write wrestling? Now, maybe you're a super fan. That's the only exception I'll give you. If you're a super fan and you grew up watching wrestling and you know everything there is to know about WCW or NWA or all Memphis, whatever, maybe if you're the Encyclopedia Pete Traris, then maybe you can write wrestling. Maybe. But if you're some jabroni, fresh out of USC film school, with a bunch of PA experience, production assistant, meaning he fetched Spielberg's coffee, right? If you're that guy and your big dream was to make it onto a television show and you somehow weasel your way into the WWE, you have no business there. In fact, you're as useless. Useless as what they say, tits on a bull, whatever. I don't know what the thing is, but you are useless. You're not only useless, but you are pathetic, you are wrong, and you need to get the hell out of Dodge, because people who know what the hell wrestling should look like want to see wrestling. For the love of God and all things holy, if you're not paying attention to the freaking ratings, the ratings are down. Do you know why? One of the reasons is writers. Here's a prime example. What in God's name, whose brilliant idea was it, possibly Vince, whose brilliant idea was it to bring Jeff Hardy's real life woes with drug and alcohol abuse into the storyline with this DUI angle, and then they went and jumped the shark and took it a whole nother step further to have Jeff Hardy do a drug test, a pee test, a urine test as part of Smackdown? What the hell does this have to do with wrestling? If you're saying this guy has a problem, fine, but we don't give a crap. Straight up, hands down, I don't care who you are, nobody wants to see a man struggle with his drug or alcohol abuse as part of a wrestling angle. They tried that crap with the Legion of Doom, remember? That didn't work out. It didn't go over, and so now we're doing it again? You know what? It was probably some dumbass writer's idea to make this crap happen, and that's why the writer needs to be shot square in the junk and thrown the hell out of Stanford, because he is a freaking, or she is a freaking idiot, because they don't understand wrestling. One of my favorite boxing personalities, if you watch boxing, or if you grew up watching boxing like I did, if you competed in boxing like I did, if you paid attention to the Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao versus whomever the hell they were wrestling at the time they were avoiding wrestling each other, Manny's fault, but we'll get into that another day, there's a certain personality, may he rest in peace, Roger Mayweather. Roger Mayweather is a big part of the Jaguar manager personality, which you'll see that hopefully eventually someday. But Roger Mayweather used to have a saying. He would look at you or look into the camera, and if somebody said something that was silly or didn't make any sense or seemed overrated or silly or dumb, let's call it dumb, he would look at you and say, "You just don't know shit about boxing." And that's what needs to be said to these writers about wrestling. Somebody needs to stop and look these writers in the face and say, "You just don't know shit about wrestling." Because here's the deal. If you think for 1 second that the same people who loved Stone Cold Steve Austin, the same people who loved The Rock, the same people who loved The Undertaker, and the millions and millions of asses in seats, and the millions and millions of pay-per-view buys, and the millions and millions of people watching on Raw and Smackdown back in the golden age, back in the Attitude Era, in the heyday, whatever you want to call it, if you think those people would give a crap, and yes, there were bad angles in the Attitude Era, don't get me wrong, if you think they care about these angles or about this kind of a thing with Jeff Hardy's off-screen drug and alcohol issues, you're wrong. What we care about as wrestling fans are wrestlers. And what we care about the wrestlers are the wrestlers' personalities. And the best wrestler personalities, personas, gimmicks, call it what you want, is a piece of themselves that they crank the volume up to 11 to make it that much more engaging and that much more entertaining. Think about it. The Rock is Dwayne Johnson turned up to 11. Stone Cold Steve Austin is Steve Williams, now Steve Austin, turned up to 11. Pretty much everybody you ever freaking loved is themselves on freaking steroids. Well, that might be a slip of the tongue. Is themselves on, 10 rock stars, cranked up to 11. Let's leave it at that. AEW. AE freaking W. The inmates are running the asylum. Let me just say this. The fact that Cody Rhodes won the TNT championship shows me that these idiots don't know what they're doing day to day. And if you listened to the FTR interview with freaking Jim Cornette where they said, well, we don't know what's going to happen from week to week, they're booking it from week to week. They haven't signed a long-term contract. They don't have a long-term plan of when or how and where they're going to face the Young Bucks. They don't have a plan as to how this is going to go down. They're making this crap up as they go along. Who's running this thing? Don't tell me Tony Khan, because I don't think it was Tony Khan's idea to beat up on a freaking inanimate object, to have multiple promos and not hours, but definitely minutes of TV time talking to a drone. It wasn't Tony Khan's idea to have Matt Hardy come out of the freaking water like a baptism in 3 different personalities. It wasn't Tony Khan's idea to have Matt Hardy changing clothes when he gets at a freaking ice machine. It was not Tony Khan's idea to do a lot of the dumb crap that they're doing, or maybe it was. In that case, let me look at the camera and tell Tony Khan to your face, you don't know shit about wrestling. Because the beautiful part about wrestling is the chase. The beautiful part about wrestling is when we were dying to see, we're waiting to see the guy get a chance to win the championship. We're dying to see the guy get a chance to beat the guy who pissed him off, to get even, as Cornette likes to say. We want to see the guy get even. So when Cody beats Lance Archer, who the hell's left to wrestle? Jungle Boy? Who cares? No feud? I don't give a crap. Now we got the dude from Private Party. Was anybody asking for this match? First of all, what did Homeboy from Private Party do to earn a title shot for the TNT Championship? Number 1. Number 2, who cares? Here's the way that thing should have been booked. I'm going off on today. I'm sorry, guys. And if you watch this and you like Jags Jabs, great. Maybe you'll enjoy this rant. If you hate it, well, I guess it just sucks for you. So, if Lance Archer had won the TNT Championship, this is what should have happened. I talked to the homeboy OC Steve about this. I said, you know what I would have booked it, the way I would have booked it? I would have booked it like this. First of all, when Jake the Snake is putting a snake on Brandy Rhodes and dry humping her, which was terrible. Okay, Tony Khan's idea? I doubt it. The inmates are running the asylum. But after that horrible dry humping, snake placing fiasco, Cody Rhodes should have been hot. He should have been furious. He should have been angry. He should have been ready to punch everybody in the face. All that stuff about Cody Rhodes, he's the nightmare and all this stuff. We should have seen the nightmare. He should have came out and beat the stuffing out of somebody. He should have been on the mic talking about, I'm going to kill you, Lance Archer, if you ever even so much as look at my wife, Jake the Snake, and cut a promo like, I'm going to rip your freaking throat out. I can't wait to get my hands on you. And only because Arn Anderson, or only because the authority figure, which there isn't one, okay? But only because this guy says I have to wait until the pay-per-view, I'm gonna just bide my time, but when I get my hands on you, Lance Archer, I'm gonna rip your throat, I'm gonna make you fucking pay for everything you said and did to my wife, and give me one of those just crazy, heart-wrenching promos, and everybody's like, damn, he's serious. Make us believe that he really wants to punch Lance Archer in the face. And then at the pay-per-view, this is what happens. Cody runs in and he goes after Lance Archer, but he's hot-headed, he's angry, he's not thinking, doesn't have a strategy. He goes in just and Lance Archer is able to capitalize, and he's able to hit him with that freaking razor's edge, whatever the hell you want to call it, and pin him quickly. Let's say 3 minutes worth of squash type match. But it's not because Cody is unworthy. It's not because Cody's not a good wrestler. It's not because Cody sucks. It's because Cody was just so enraged. He was so overcome with emotion. This is where the commentators come in, that he was just didn't have a strategy. He went in and he got caught. You ever watch UFC and a guy just rush in and get caught? It happens all the time. So maybe he just gets caught with a good shot and Lance Archer's able to put him down for the 1, the 2, and the 3. And then, after the match, when Cody's just distraught, he can't believe he had this shot to get his hands on the guy, and before you know it, he was out of there in no time, and God, he was just so angry, and he just wasn't thinking straight. And now, because wins and losses matter, and now, because it's sports-based wrestling, which is what they sold us, right? And now, he falls down the rank, and he can't challenge for a TNT championship title until he gets, 4 or 5 more wins under his belt. And so now, Jungle Boy, and now MJF, and now Wardlow, and now, I don't know, name somebody, Homeboy from Private Party, Chuck E.T., and whoever the hell else have a shot at the TNT Championship. And they keep challenging Lance Archer, and Lance Archer keeps beating them. So when you bring in Brian Cage gets a chance to go for the TNT Championship, and he goes up against Lance Archer. Or maybe Brody Lee's going for the TNT Championship. So we have a couple of big pay-per-view level matches and big blow-off matches. So Lance Archer is beating the stuffing out of everybody. He just looks unstoppable because, for God's sake, he's 6'8". He's the Murder Hawk Monster. His catchphrase is everybody dies, and the guy got jobbed out to Cody like a punk. But let's say in the Jags world, he's just beating the stuffing out of everybody. He looks unstoppable. Everybody saying, man, Lance Archer's going to take on the John Moxley. He's going to go for the world championship because nobody can beat him. But all the while, when Lance Archer's on this crazy tear, on this crazy run, Cody keeps winning matches. Cody keeps winning matches. Cody keeps winning matches, and he's slowly climbing. When they interview him, he goes, I don't want to talk about Lance Archer. I'm not ready to talk about Lance Archer. However, what you do see is whenever Lance Archer has a match, Cody's on commentary, or Cody's sitting at the table and he's watching. Cody's watching. And when Cody finally gets to the point where he's able to challenge Lance Archer, he's now the #1 contender to the TNT Championship. And Lance Archer laughs and goes, I beat this guy in 3 minutes. This guy's a joke. He's a clown. He's nothing. But Cody finally speaks about Lance Archer, and he cuts the most magnificent promo where he says, I've been watching you for 8 months. I've seen your weaknesses. I've seen holes in your strategy. I've seen something in you that maybe nobody else has seen. I've seen a weakness, and I know how to exploit that weakness, Lance. And he says, even better, he says, the last time that I came to face you, I was full of rage and emotion, and I was just so overwhelmed because of what Jake the Snake did to my wife. But I've had 6 months, 8 months, whatever, to think about this. My wife is fine. We're doing better than ever. And Jake the Snake, you're a non-factor. Arn Anderson's going to be in my corner if you come anywhere near my wife, whatever, right? Take Jake out of the equation. Cage match, who gives a crap, right? But he goes, but Lance, I have seen what you do. I have watched your matches. I have found a weakness in your game, and I'm going to exploit it at blah, blah, blah pay-per-view. So now, after 6 to 8 months of build, we get the rematch. And Cody, who's been killing people with technical prowess, Cody's been beating people with amazing precision, Cody, who's been undeniable, which is one of the best promos I've seen in a long time, says to Lance Archer, I've got your number, and I'm going to get my payback, and you're going to pay for what you did to my wife, but it's not going to be emotion this time. This time, it's going to be experience, it's going to be knowledge, and it's going to be heart. Dude, I'd buy that pay-per-view. Would you? And that, my friends, is the problem. Nobody's thinking 6 to 8 months down the road. They're thinking next week. They're thinking, wouldn't it be cool if? They're thinking, wouldn't this be funny? How about we run over them with the freaking line marker like the Coyote on the Roadrunner? This is the crap that they're thinking about, and they're laughing and funny haha as they all high-five each other and, play video games. I don't know. But it's clear that they don't have a long-term strategy. If FTR is not signed to a long-term deal and they don't have a plan of how they're going to get to the FTR versus Young Bucks match that everybody wants, then what the hell are they doing? So now, after this stupid P-test angle in the WWE Smackdown, after all the craziness, the WWE says, we're going to take Paul Heyman off of his managerial overseeing whatever duties and put him back to focus on in-ring performance. And now Bruce Pritchard, Brother Love, is going to be in charge of both Raw and SmackDown. And oh, looky here, we're going to combine the writers' rooms. So both writers from Raw and SmackDown are going to come together, and Bruce Pritchard's going to oversee both of them. And they think that's going to work. How? because the ratings are down. Nobody cares. So now we take one turd, we take another turd, and we form a turd Voltron of the same craptastic content because we have to script their promos, we have to create these stupid personalities, change their names, the whole nine, and we have to write something that should happen organically. When we watch indie shows, we don't go to see what a writer came up with. We go to see what the hell the wrestlers came up with. Love him or hate him, Joey Ryan, nobody wrote that crap for him. He came up with that on his own. Chris Bay is one of the most prolific and gifted wrestlers in the world, and his personality, his persona, his gimmick is him. Turned up to 11, but it's the core basis, it's him. They didn't create some name like, oh, you're Dave Hustle, and Dave Hustle likes to dance, so now you're gonna do the Millie Walk every time you do a move. That's some crap he does on his own because he's feeling it, because that's the persona, that's part of who the he is. Come on, man. Look, the encyclopedia likes to say that the WWE has an embarrassment of riches, and he is 100% right. I am tired as hell. I've been on the road for a long time, so my eyes are red, not because I've been smoking, I don't smoke, but I'm tired and my eyes are tired, whatever, I need to take a freaking nap. But when OC Steve sent me that picture of the P-test thing going on Smackdown, I kind of lost my crap. And he said, this might make a good Jags jab. And I was like, man, I haven't even watched the show. He's like, yeah, but can you believe they're doing this crap? I said, you know what? I can't believe they're doing any of this crap. I can't believe that they're merging the writers' rooms. I can't believe that they're putting Bruce Pritchard in charge and not letting the wrestlers have a little more personality and direction of their own. Shawn Michaels is not a creation of a writer. Stone Cold Steve Austin is not a creation of a writer. Come on, people. You know what the writers came up with? Rocky Maivia. I rest my freaking case. If you made it to the end of this video, I know this is a long rant, and I imagine if you're still watching this, you probably feel the same way as the Jag. But I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. Number 1, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. We're putting out new videos every day. Lots of stuff. We're doing your requests. Stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more really cool stuff headed your way. Number 2, follow us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at MakeMeAFan316. You can follow the Jag at AKA the Jag. And the third and final thing. Yes, the third and final thing I'm going to ask of you. Put something in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think the writing is great? Or do you think the wrestlers should have more control? Do you think that AEW writing is fantastic? Or do you agree with me and see the product from the horse's mouth that they don't have long-term strategies, okay? What do you think of the little angle I just booked off the top of my head? Actually, not the top of my head. I talked to Steve about it a couple days ago, Monday, I think. And so, whatever. This is definitely a rant, not so much a jab, but damn it, I'm jabbing at all these fools because nobody knows how to book anything anymore. Take a heel and a face, give us a storyline that's believable, and we're gonna wanna see the face get even with the heel. Vince McMahon and Steve Austin. We believed it. We wanted to see Steve Austin kick Vince's butt. And Vince kept throwing things in his way. Hurdles. And Austin had a chase. He had something to overcome. They didn't just give him the belt and say, you're the man. Now go fight Jungle Boy. Again, that's gonna do it for Jack's Jabs. Sorry for the rant, or maybe you're welcome for the rant. I hope it entertained you, and I will see you next time. Take care.